Today I want to help you prepare for BQ, the newest infantry hero that looks absolutely insane. He was teased in the Dubai meetup and his kit revealed. Everything in here is subject to change, but there's enough that we can figure out from his kit to decide who you're going to pair with, what the talents are going to look like. So before we go and we talk about the pairs for BQ, because he's so new, I know I covered what his skills do in my video yesterday, but let's go over them again very, very briefly, okay? Remember, he has AoE smite damage, rage requirement of 1,000, 2,400 factor, and each target has a 30% chance of taking 15% extra damage. He's an instant classic. AoE damage, done. Relevant damage factor, done. But as if that wasn't enough, he's also got 20% march speed for infantry, 10% health, and 40% attack. Sure, let's just throw the kitchen sink worth of stats in this dude. Then, over here, he's got a skill that's kind of complicated. I'll explain it very briefly, but he gets 10 stacks of malice whenever he uses an active skill, and if he's got more malice stacks than the enemy's percent units remaining, you spend 10 to your malice to do 300 damage factor to the enemy. There's a cooldown of only 1 second on this, by the way, and it also gives you a 10% bonus to sev wounds inflicted and 20% bonus to rage recovery speed for the next second. But if you were to have, a lot of stacks of malice because you've been in combat for a little bit, and you pick a weak enemy, boom, 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 every turn, every other turn maybe, you're doing this 300 damage factor, it's going to be pretty savage. So I think this has a little bit of a ramp up to it, but once it gets going, it's really nuts. And to help with the ramp up, we have the fourth skill over here. You do 10% more normal damage, and when attacking a field troop, you get 10 malice when you enter combat. And you get 10 malice for every 10% of troops you lose. And you also get a 5% bonus to smite damage dealt up to 30%. For every 10 units you're missing. Very much a lot of inspiration here from Honda Tadakatsu. In fact, this is pretty wild over here. Blood upon blood, the expertise. If this commander's troop is on the map, after severely wounding 400,000 enemy units, you gain a 5% bonus to normal damage dealt. Just like how Honda Tadakatsu has a flavor text going on with one of his abilities, it's like 57 times you take like less normal damage. This is also, as it turns out, flavor text. Someone left a comment on one of my videos. I'll put it up on screen here, but I'm just going to read this. And Andrew said, about the 400k sev wound, it's probably in respect to the Battle of Changping, where according to historical records, only 240 Zhao soldiers who were underage were released back to their country, and the remaining 400,000 Zhao surrendered soldiers were all buried alive by BQ. That's this commander. As for what happened, the Battle of Changping was a decisive conflict during the Warring States period between the Qin and Zhao states, taking place in 260 BCE. Initially, Zhao's general, Lian Po, held a defensive stance leading to a stalemate. However, the king of Zhao fell for Qin's deception and placed Lian Po with Zhao Ku, who was lured into a trap by Qin's general Bai. Dude, I mean, it's complicated. Long story short, the Qin army cut off Zhao's supply lines, encircled them with overwhelming forces. Eventually, Zhao's forces were defeated, and the 400,000 surrendered troops were executed. This battle severely weakened Zhao, stripping him of his former strength and paving the way for Qin's eventual unification of China. Now, were they buried alive? I don't know. I gotta go look it up. That's crazy. I'll update the pinned comment with whatever reality is, but I thought that comment was either the most creative elaboration of all time, or there's the flavor text for this guy right over here. Anyways, he does other stuff in this expertise as well. When he starts getting low at 50% health remaining, or units remaining, he'll do 60% more damage and take 30% less damage for 6 seconds. And when he gets down to 15%, he'll do 100% more damage and take 50% less damage for 6 seconds. But it can only trigger once per hour. I assume each of these effects can only trigger once per hour. Whatever, all of it's subject to change because this was from the Dubai meetup. But long story short, BQ is insane. I think he might be one of the best commanders in the game. And the fact that Liu Che is already kind of undeniably like the best commander in the game, I think at this point, to pair with him just seems completely insane. So what I want to do now is talk about pairings. This is an important thing to start to prepare for, especially if you're about to battle in KVK. He should be the Wheel of Fortune commander. He's infantry versatility smite. So like you're going to pair him with Liu Che. Obviously, but let's go look at this more in depth. So here we are in Tier Maker, the mightiest tool in all the land. And let's go and rank the sort of infantry armies you would make here. If you use one infantry army, to me, it's pretty obvious. You're going to use BQ and you're going to use Liu Che and you're done. Congratulations. You have the strongest single army probably in the game. There it is. We did it, chat. And if you're going to use a second army, okay, this is easy too. Ragnar, Skippy Prime. Easy. Very easy. Okay? Like, doesn't take a lot of thought. If you're a 3 infantry player, now things get kind of curious. You have some options. If you have real infantry gear, not this leadership-y stuff that some of us are stuck with, then what you can do is kind of neat. Obviously, Liu Che with Alex is really good. And I think that BQ with Philip will be really good too. And it's kind of funny because Amfern and I talked about this, like literally the commanders dropped and we were talking about it. But Sewell, the king of 1960, released a video earlier today and like he gave the same recommendation. So we both landed in the same place here, which, yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of obvious. Like you don't have to be a genius to figure out that this all could be really, really good. Now, if you're the kind of player like me who has like leadership-y inf stuff, it gets a little weird as to what you do. Like I could run it this way. The advantage of using the pairing here of the Philip with BQ is twofold. First of all, extra activations of your active skill gives you more malice. So there's like clearly a synergy there, right? However, there's an anti-synergy with Echelon and also doing a lot of smite damage. It's not bad per se. It's the same problem I have with what I currently use, right? The Philip Ragnar. It really does nerf the Ragnar damage pretty dramatically, although you can do some kind of cool stuff with it. I would love to be able to do kind of more. And oh my gosh, this is all over the place, right? So anyways, what I will do running 2 infantry, okay, is probably, and a leadership march, probably ends up being more like this. We'll kind of see here, but I could just continue to use Guan Skippy, and I could go something like this. This is one way to run it. The other way to run it is actually to go find Wallace. Where are you hiding, buddy? There he is. Oh my God, it was like, where's Waldo? I bring him back up, right? And what I could do is something like this. I keep running Wallace with Liu Che. And bench the Guan and run it like that. And like that's the other way I could run it. I'm going to have to test a bunch. I don't anticipate this being the better way to do it, quite frankly. Right? Like, would I rather have the Guan in play or the Wallace? I mean, it's so weird that it's 2025 and I might still rather have the Guan. And it is a bummer that Wallace goes the way of the Dodo. I really sort of was hoping that in this release, because Wallace is in my eyes kind of an under-leveraged and not relatively popular new release, because you could just do Liu Che Alex and everybody's already got Alex, right? I thought that they would give Wallace more relevance by not releasing a smite fielder, right? That they would give another skill damage commander and retire the Skippy Prime. Because what are we talking about? It's 2025 and we're still using Skippy Prime? God damn, are we serious? But we are serious. We are serious. So I actually thought it was a little surprising that that is the route that we went, that the design went, rather than, you know, let Wallace retain more relevance by not releasing another Smite talent tree. But they did. Smite talent tree is here, okay? And speaking of which, let's jump in game and let's get a look at what you should do with your Smite talent tree. You know, it's not exactly rocket science, but here's what I would recommend for the new commander BQ if you're going to pair him with Liu Che. Pretty straightforward. You do a lot of smite damage, so let's just move all in on the smite damage plan. You're basically saying, hey, BQ is going to be better than Wallace, so just same talents, switch it out, GG easy. Like, actually just easy. The reason we don't take this talent, okay, is you deal more smite damage, but you take more normal. I mean, this might actually be good on BQ. I would believe it, but probably skip that. Same with this one. Maybe you stay in combat for like a really long time, but to the bitter end feels to me more like a rally talent. Every 10 seconds, you do more smite damage. Like that's like a rally thing, right? And then in here, you know, a little bit of march speed is all you need. Hold the line. Beautiful. Strong a body. Pretty straightforward. Very uncontroversial talent build, I would think, okay? And with regard to the Liu Che pairing, like, how will this work out with the BQ primary? Okay, well, you have the 5-target AoE, right? Like, how do we know he'll be good? He's a smite commander that hits 5 targets. Where have we seen that before? The two of them together? Oh my god. Anyways, only 2,250 damage factor on this guy, and he's got a slow. Liu Che's second skill, defense, 20 march speed, take 20% less skill damage. God, they just throw in the goodness on it here. If this commander's troop is attacking another troop on the map, infantry get 20% attack. Whenever you launch a basic, 25% chance to deal extra smite damage. Okay, so a lot of sources of smite damage flying around. Their troop deals 10% more normal damage. Seems good. Whenever their troop deals smite damage, the target deals 10% less damage for the next 3 seconds. And you have so many ways to deal smite damage now. This thing's going to always be on cooldown. Oh yeah, and you do combo attacks and gain rage. I think it's going to be just fine. I think it's going to be just fine. I don't think there's any crazy synergy. I'd have to look at the kit again and see. I think it's just 2 good stuff heroes, which is why I think you could split them, actually. Like, you don't have to run them together if you want to go that, like, 3 infantry route and, you know, you could run BQ with Philip, as an example. And I think that would work really well. Okay. So that's my recommended preparations. Prep your commanders, prep mentally for this. And when I was talking with Hooksy about this, he conveyed to me his fear that the release of BQ means that maybe Ragnar Prime only lasts like a year. And I think it is likely that, given the way this infantry commander worked out, that I will take Ragnar and bump him out of the top investments category and put him down in the later projects category, right? He's not a top choice anymore. I mean, BQ basically takes his spot. Okay. Now, if you missed the full video about BQ and the new garrison, check the card in the end screen. I mean, I break it all down. There's obviously like a ton to be said about the new garrison as well. So watch this vid over here. And until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.